All right, good morning, everyone. Today is April 20th, 2020, and this is a special meeting of the members of the State Liquor Authority. Present today here in Albany is Chairman Bradley. By phone, we have Commissioner Ford. Commissioner Ford, we have you still? Commissioner Ford?
Yes, sorry, I was muted.
Okay. Commissioner Pham, we have you on the line as well?
Yes.
Okay. And we also have our counsel, Harry Meyerhoff, on the phone.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
And myself, Secretary Downey, here in Albany with the chairman. We have one item on the calendar today. It's item 543G. It's a request from Counsel's Office for a summary order of suspension regarding serial number Queens OP 1313671. At this point, I'll turn it over to our counsel.
Yes, Gary Meyerhoff, counsel to the State Liquor Authority. Thank you, members, for coming together for this. This matter concerns a licensee, Antojitos de San Cecilio, Inc., a restaurant at 90-04 Jamaica Avenue in Queens, New York. We bring the matter because of what appear to be violations of the governor's Executive Order 202.3 regarding service inside the premises during the coronavirus epidemic or pandemic, and believe that an order of summary suspension pursuant to Section 4013 of the State Administrative Procedure Act is warranted. On the evening of April 11th, 2020, the New York Police Department received an anonymous call regarding this licensee, that there were people gathering inside, loud music being played, alcohol being served. The complainant also stated that these gatherings had been occurring daily. The 102nd Precinct of the NYPD responded. They went to the place, the location, and when they arrived at about 10:20 p.m., there were no lights on in front of the location, and inside the restaurant appeared dark from the street. They could hear the loud music coming in from inside, so they proceeded through the front door, which was unlocked. They found the restaurant to be dark, except for 3 lights above the rear bar and an illuminated jukebox, which was playing music. The police observed approximately 14 people inside, 3 people sitting at the bar, 3 behind the bar, and then 8 more people sitting at 2 tables. Amongst the people inside was the licensee's principal, Cecilio Albayero. The patrons at the bar were observed smoking hookah and had open bottles of Modelo beer next to them. There was also a bucket of ice with Modelo beer next to them, and also at the tables where the other people were sitting. The police officers inspected the location. No one was observed eating food inside. The lights in the kitchen were off. No chef on duty. The grill was cold. No evidence that there was food being served or prepared for takeout. When Mr. Albayero was questioned by the NYPD, he said that these were all employees of his who'd been making deliveries. But given the state of the kitchen, this hardly made any sense. We note as well for the record that the method of operation for this restaurant is that it would be self-managed with just 3 employees, and yet Mr. Albayero said that the 14 people in there were his employees. One other thing to note is that while Mr. Albayero issued a summons for violating the executive order, actually the mayor's executive order, which is how NYPD has been writing summonses for these incidents, we asked why the patrons who were inside were not also given summonses for breaking the law that requires social distancing, and received a telling response from the NYPD. They just don't have the staff to issue summonses because many of them are out sick with COVID-19. So the patrons were dispersed, the premises were closed. This is yet another circumstance where a licensed premise has decided that it does not have to adhere to the same law and restrictions that everyone else is adhering to try to save lives. This particular licensee put the 14 people in his restaurant at risk. He put the police officers at risk, and he puts healthcare workers at risk, because the more people that get this disease, the more people that have to visit the hospitals, the more chance that healthcare workers are going to contract the disease themselves, et cetera, et cetera. Here, the licensee's story makes no sense. There weren't 14 people delivering food all night in a cold kitchen with a cold kitchen. But even if that was true, it would still be a violation of the order, because they're serving. They're serving 14 people, buckets of beer on the table. The lights were out for a reason, not because people like to sit in the dark, but because they want to avoid detection. And this is another case. We've seen a lot of them, and we hope we don't see any more, of a clear and intentional, and in counsel's office's view, heinous violation of the law that's intended to protect human life. There was an intent to deceive here. We do not believe that this licensee can be trusted to follow the law. We respectfully suggest the full board finds under the Administrative Procedure Act that public health, safety, or welfare requires emergency action, and that the board issue an order summarily suspending the license of this at this location.
Commissioner Fan, any questions?
No, I don't have questions.
Commissioner Ford.
So, counsel, this licensee has not even been open a year. They were licensed on what, May 31st last year? And
I believe that's correct.
I wonder if it was done by the board, or did this just go through licensing?
I don't have that in front of me.
I don't have any other questions, though.
Chairman Bradley.
No questions.
Commissioner Fan, you ready to vote?
Yes, I vote to summarily suspend this license. The licensee has clearly violated the governor's executive order requiring all restaurants and bars to stop service, and has also created an imminent threat to public safety, health, and welfare.
Commissioner Ford.
I think it's pretty clear that the licensee was operating the premise in a way to not be detected for the most part. Not having a working kitchen or any food in the place seems to be clear that whoever those people were, all of them weren't there waiting for food to be prepared to be delivered. So obviously they were trying to conceal what they were doing, and I would vote to summarily suspend as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll vote to summarily suspend based on the intentional violation of the governor's executive order. The violation occurred in the area of the city, Queens, which was has been most hard hit by this virus, which is evident just based on the number of the police department indicating they didn't even have enough staff to write summonses to the customers. So it showed a egregious violation of the executive order and obvious inability to follow any law or obligation that would be put before them. So I vote to summarily suspend.
And then that's the only item I have. Chairman, do you have anything else?
Nope.
Then we are adjourned.
Thank
you all
you.
very much.
Thank you, members.